doing our own little things and then coming together and working on various tracks together all throughout college. But it didn't actually become really Forrester until I think that was what, sophomore summer, that we came back here and we kind of finished up an album while we were working full-time jobs. Yo,
what's going on?
hey man,
How are you both?
good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We appreciate it. Sorry that we couldn't make it the other day. Got crazy, but this is awesome.
Oh no, all good, man. I love the you've got like this lens flare going on with the lighting in your background. It's
Yeah, I don't know exactly what that is, but
it looks really rad. I'll take it. I'm Adam, and this podcast is about the both of you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about the new song. I just watched the music video. It's rad as well.
I appreciate that.
Cool. So you're in LA now? Is that what I read?
Yeah. Yep.
Are you born and raised? Both of you born and raised in LA?
Yeah, sir. Which is pretty rare in the industry. We found a lot of people ask us where we're from, and we say LA, and they're like, "Where are you from originally?" Like, LA.
Yeah, you're LA.
We didn't move to LA to do music.
That's cool. I'm from San Diego originally, so I would get the same thing. They're like, "No, but where did you move from to get to San Diego?" I'm like, "No, I was born and raised in San Diego."
Yeah.
What part of LA?
Santa Monica, Palisades area, west side of LA.
Oh, very, very cool. And did you both grow up together?
We did, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I guess we'll hear from both of you. So Xander, how did you get into music? We'll start with that, and then we'll go back, and then John kind of figure out how you guys met.
It's a good question. It goes all the way back to when I was 5 or 6, I started taking classical piano lessons from a teacher down the street, and that is what kind of opened up music to me. My family's always been very musically oriented. My mom is a singer-songwriter.
Killer.
Yeah, my dad's a filmmaker, so he's always working with music in an artistic way. And his mom, so my grandma, was a music teacher in high school. So it definitely runs in the family. But I ditched the classical piano for production and more electronic music when I was in middle school.
Okay, but you could still pull those elements in, right? I mean, if you like a MIDI keyboard or whatever, if you can write on the keyboard, you can do anything.
I mean, that's the base of all of my musical talent, I'd say, is classical.
That's really rad.
Every day.
What about, you said your mom's a singer-songwriter?
Mm-hmm.
Professionally, is that what she does?
That's her job. Yeah, that's what she does.
That's killer, man. I'm sure I should have done more research to figure out who that is, but it's all good. So obviously grew up in a musical household. Is that something that you share with your mom? Like, would you show her music that you write?
Yeah, I mean, all the time. Like the reason I got into production is because she has a little Pro Tools rig down in the first floor of the house, and she used to show me how to use it. And she's given me vocal lessons before. I do take her feedback very seriously on the music, and it's been a really good collaborative process, I'd say, with her since I was a kid.
That's cool. Very cool. What about you, David? How'd you get into music?
Yeah, similar to Xander, both sides of my family were really into music. My mom's side, they had like a family band, and they'd play in church every Sunday growing up. So my mom was a bass player. Growing up, we always had instruments around the house. So I think like from the time I was born, I was always messing around with her bass or guitars that we had around. And my dad actually was really into the electronic side early on. He took an electronic music class in like the 70s or 80s.
Oh, wow.
So we had a couple synths around the house as well, like an old Nord. I forgot exactly what model it is. It was like a mono, very basic, like saw wave signal, but very cool synth that just messed around with as a kid. Around 8 or 9, started taking guitar lessons and got really into that. And rock music was a big thing. And then my older brother started producing electronic music. And I started just messing around with the programs that were on the home computer, because we all kind of shared one at the time, and before we all had laptops and whatnot. So I was just messing around with sound design, learning how to produce. And now he actually mixes and masters almost all of our music.
Oh,
So
is
he
that right?
project as well. Yeah.
Wow, it's like a family affair. That's
Yeah.
cool. And you play guitar in the band a little bit too, right?
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
awesome. Yeah, because like I've seen videos of you playing guitar, but then there's like, you know, more the electronic DJ element, and then in the video I recently watched, you're playing keyboard.
Yeah, we just had to do that for a music video. There wasn't a lot of guitar in that song. So it
Sure.
made sense to do keyboard, but yeah.
Is that kind of cool? Like live, you just kind of whatever the song is, you just go out and grab the instrument, or kind of instead of having it all pre-recorded, it's like you go out and play live.
It makes it fun. It really does. And there's some songs I think where there's more room for improvisation than others, where got to play the part on some of them.
Mhm.
But it makes it interesting, and it feels like, I guess, you're actually doing something and controlling the sound
Mhm.
worse than in a DJ set. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And what about like, were either of you in the school band or anything like that, or is it just like a passion project and didn't kind of go that way as far as schooling went?
Yeah, I was in middle school part of the rhythm section band, which was kind of like a jazz and rock fusion band that we had. And then in high school, I was in choir.
Oh, cool.
I never thought I'd be singing. I think of all the people in the choir, people would have said I was the least likely to go on to sing as a profession, but
Professional.
here I am, and it's great. I love it.
You said your mom would kind of give you voice lessons too. Was that while you're still in high school in the choir class, or no?
No, I don't think I would
Okay.
have let her give me a voice lesson.
Okay. Back then.
Yeah, back then.
All right.
No, since then, I've definitely opened up to that. Yeah.
Sure. Awesome. What about, how did you guys meet? Like, did you go to the same high school and middle school and all that?
Similar friend groups, different high schools though.
Okay.
The west side of LA was like, if you go out and like, you're part of that social circle, it was like one big friend group.
Okay.
Met through parties and whatnot. So that's how we met, just through some friends, I think, that were probably friends. It was a long time ago though. The actual origins of the first time we met are a question mark.
Oh,
It's
okay.
one of those things where we just kept on meeting at parties
Yeah.
and talking about music. And then eventually we got in the room together here at my house, like the little Pro Tools rig we were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
I showed him the studio, and I think that kind of blew his mind a little bit.
Yeah, I was
And-
used to just working on like shitty computer speakers and had really nothing other than the program itself.
Oh, okay. And then you go over to Xander's house and he's got like this full setup.
Yeah, it was
We took like the full traditional Pro Tools setup and made some very shitty electronic music, hardstyle banger or something like that. And then we'd actually play out some of the music that we'd make during the week or whatever at these parties. You kind of call them warehouse raves that we'd throw on the weekend that were absolutely
cool.
illegal to do. But we
Sure.
could
Those are always
consider-
the best parties though, the
Yeah.
illegal warehouse parties, right?
yeah, it was cool. Like we would go around just trying to find a venue, and
as what, 15-year-olds?
only 15, yeah, they would agree to rent it to us. I think
Somehow.
everything was legal except for kids would like be bringing in alcohol that they weren't supposed to and whatnot. Like it was just
Gotcha.
underage.
But at 15, you'd go rent out the
15-year-olds.
Yeah, I think like my dad had to co-sign
Yeah,
on it
yeah.
or something like that.
Funny.
wow, but that's rad. So then what, you would sell tickets into the party or just throw the party?
Mhm.
Yeah, we'd sell tickets,
It's
and
like
then
wristbands.
we would be the talent.
Yeah.
So we only had to pay for the venue at that point. Actually, we'd get some pretty cool production sometimes.
Definitely. We had some people who were like cool artists now that played. I know Ben Shirkin, he goes by Beshkin, played one of the events.
We had Hex Cougar at one
Hex
point.
Cougar was one of them.
So you just book people to try to get somebody to be another, player on the lineup?
Yeah.
We would try to get like friends of
Wow.
friends who did music, somehow,
Mhm.
and get them to come through. It was always a crazy time.
Yeah.
At what point do you both kind of see that you could do this like as a profession? Was there a particular song that you put out or a moment that you're like, whoa, okay, this is like when you'd finish high school or whatever, you're like, I'm not I'm just going to pursue music, or did you guys go through college and do that whole thing too?
Yeah, I think for me it was always a dream to do music from as young as I can remember. I wanted to be a musician,
Mhm.
professionally, and the moment it could be a profession was like a month before we graduated college when we got signed to Palm Tree Records, Kygo's label,
Mhm.
Sony, and that gave us the financial freedom to pursue it full time. Like that was, I guess, what really put us on that trajectory. But I think I always had hope and always wanted to do it full time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think even going before that, there was sort of a turning point freshman year where we got paid to do our first official remix. And I always credit that as the point where there was this little light that went off in my head that was like, yo, this like you just got money for making music.
Mhm.
This is actually a thing. This could you could keep working on this and it could become something. But it was for this guy Parson James, who is an incredible singer, and we actually hang out with him a lot now because he's part of the Palm Tree team. He sings on some of Kygo's records, so he's always at these shows that we're playing. And he was really the guy that gave us our first like financially feasible, paid opportunity in music, which was
It
pretty
was
and
really
I
cool.
think that I stayed up for 3 days straight making that remix,
Oh, I
in my
bet.
old
Just like,
remix, or sorry, my little like dorm room in college. And that was, I think, also turning point for production for me. I think that taught me how to I really just dove so deep into YouTube videos and tutorials and trying to, A/B certain mixes to my own. And that I think that kind of sent me into a more professional realm of production.
were you both going to the same school? Both same college or no? Oh, wow. Okay. So you never really like, it was never like okay, once the group kind of started, you did everything together. It was like still kind of a separate path as far as that went.
Right.
Yeah, we
Okay.
didn't really like come back together after, well, we did that remix together and then we
We did a
came,
few remixes together in that year, I think.
yeah.
So
There
you
were
guys kind of went your separate ways and through college, like you weren't
yeah,
doing Forrester. This wasn't a thing yet, or was it?
A different project before Forrester
Okay.
was a project called Ossian, which was just like us learning how to produce, having fun. I think going into college, we put out this DJ Mustard remix
Hmm.
um, that like blew up, and Caleb Presley from Barstool Sports tweeted it, and it got like hundreds of thousands of streams on SoundCloud.
Oh,
And
wow.
from that, we got hit up from like Sony to do this Parson James remix. So I think like we finished that like right before we went off to college.
Okay. So this Parson James remix wasn't even a part of Forrester yet.
No, it
no.
wasn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So we
Okay.
were kind of doing our own little things and then coming together and working on various tracks together all throughout college. But it didn't actually become really Forrester until I think that was what, sophomore summer, that we came back
Yeah.
here and we kind of finished up an album while we were working full-time jobs. Uh, and before I went abroad to Australia junior year, it was like this hard deadline. It was like we had to get this thing done so that we could pitch it to labels and just Hail Mary, before we graduate college, see if we could get some sort of traction. And we did. Lowly, which was like the Trap Nation, Chill Nation guys. Kirk over there picked it up and he's the man. And from that point forward, like we released Spark, which did well, got on
Oh,
some
yeah.
and that was like, all right, let's do this kind of. And then obviously one thing led to the next, and then it was Kygo's Palm Tree Records that picked us up after that.
Yeah, I think Forrester started in 2019, like when we
Okay.
put
So you
that.
had an album that came out before Kerosene came out?
No,
No,
that was our
Oh, so that was it.
that
That
was
was the one.
Kerosene.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that was the one you put out, and then you went to Australia, and then that's when it got picked up by
Yeah.
a label. And then how long are you in Australia for?
I was there for like 4 or 5 months. Yeah,
Okay.
just like a semester, a little bit extended.
So once you get signed, or once this album gets picked up, do you guys start playing shows once you get back from Australia? Like, how does the project then kind of take off?
Um, I was playing a lot of shows in college, just I was promoting them as well,
Mm.
and I would just open for whatever acts came through, and it was good for getting experience there. But COVID kind of hit, the next year.
Oh
Like,
yeah, you're thinking 2019, then you kind of
yeah.
get stuck. Okay.
So we didn't really start playing our first shows until not this last summer, but the summer before. I think June was our first Forrester show. We played Red Rocks with Kygo.
Oh shit. Wow. What was that like? That's
Uh,
like the ultimate venue. I haven't been there, but I've heard it's like insane.
Breathtaking, but I was so nervous the whole time. I was just like shaking.
Yeah,
on
we were
stage.
both freaking out in the best way possible. And afterwards, like that was one of the most rewarding feelings I think both of us have ever felt. Hearing the roar of the crowd as we just played our first show, the first time we'd ever heard our own music on big speakers, ourselves, and seeing other people react to it was really special in that setting. Of course, it was like a storybook beginning to a project.
Yeah, I mean, even thinking back to it right now, it feels like it was a dream. Like it's hard to believe that that was actually real.
That's so wild. I mean, your sound in like a Kygo sound, or even something like a Bon Iver or like a Tame Impala. Like I feel like those would be the best shows to see in that venue. Like you wouldn't go there to watch like, I don't know, like an alternative rock show. In my opinion, like I feel like that'd be like just the way it's set up and the sound and the acoustics of the place would be perfect for what you guys are doing. And then to have it be your first real show as Forcer, that's insane.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. And how do you get the attention of Kygo? Does he hear Spark, or hear your first album or something that kind of builds that relationship, or how did that all happen?
Yeah, that was actually a cold email from Dave Rishti at Palm Tree Records. At the time, he was the product manager, and I think his job was to go through Spotify or SoundCloud and kind of look for new talent. And he just sent us an email because our email was attached to our SoundCloud or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
asking for a demo folder. And at the time, we had been working on another body of work, so we sent that over to him. He really liked it. He was obviously, we talked for a couple months before any paperwork was signed, but we had a song called We Found Home that I think really sealed the deal for Dave for the Palm Tree Records side. And then Miles Shear, who's Kygo's manager, heard it, our manager now as well. He heard it, loved it, sent us a DM on Instagram, was like, yo, we should chat management. Again, a couple months passed, we worked out a deal, and we've been with Palm Tree Records and Palm Tree Management since then.
That's crazy. I mean, to think like even a few years prior to that, would you ever imagine that you'd grab his attention? Not only that, then now you're on his label and the same manager. Like that's insane.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was crazy.
And it was
Definitely.
also organic too. It felt really
Yeah,
cool.
it happened naturally, and no, I don't think I would have ever expected that to happen.
That's crazy, man. And you guys have sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying most of the things that have happened, I don't think we would have ever expected to have happened. Makes it that much sweeter.
Sure. I mean, you have so much music out too in such a short amount of time. You have like what, three albums and another like EP, and you already got a new song out. I mean, are you just constant? You both must just be constantly working.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I mean, it's pretty much nonstop. We're in here every day, working on as much as we can. Also, we had COVID to pretty much do nothing but make music, so we got a lot done, during that time.
Mhm.
It
Like,
was kind of fun.
yeah, with COVID, how much of that music was written during that time period?
Good amount. Basically all of A Range of Light was written during that time, which is our second album.
Uh-huh.
And some of
Yeah,
Watercolor.
there was some that
Yeah.
made it over for sure.
Yeah. So like maybe an album and a half.
A lot.
Fair.
Really? Wow. Okay. Wow. And then you put out Watercolors. And what about, you said you weren't even really able to play shows until that Kygo show, which is after COVID was happening. You said what, summer 2020 or 2021?
21, I think. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so once you like, so you must have had at least what, that second record out yet at that point, or no?
I think it was just a range of light.
Yeah, so that was the second record.
Yeah, yeah. So you had a range of light out. So did you tour the album, or were you able to just kind of play some shows that just because of how weird it was? I mean, still kind of weird, like
Yeah,
with
we
touring and
never
all
got to
that.
officially tour that album,
Yeah.
but we obviously hopped on all these dates with Kira, who's Kygo, and we played that music. So I think unofficially we did tour it out.
Yeah.
That summer
Okay.
we played Belly Up. What else did we play that summer?
Oh, you did in Solana Beach?
In Aspen.
Oh, I was like, okay. I'm
Belly
like,
Up.
that doesn't even make sense for you guys to play there after Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the Palm Tree Festival that
Right.
summer in the Hamptons. Got to play Surf Lodge out there. Just a few
Little
there.
one-offs.
Yeah, and then we did our own headline run this past spring,
Mhm.
and we got to play about half and half of like new music and old music, which was nice. So we got to kind of tour a range of light, but didn't fully get the opportunity to give it its moment.
Mhm. What about for Watercolor?
Yeah, this past tour was, I think it was our Watercolor tour.
Uh-huh.
There were some songs that didn't make it in the set list just because energy wise didn't necessarily make sense, but I'd say most of that album we played out live.
You toured, yeah. And then you have some shows coming up too, right? I mean, you're doing
Mhm.
LA, New York.
In New
Yeah,
York.
El Rey October 21, Denver October 20. Yeah, Chicago and New York.
Yeah, that's insane. And so tell me about this new song. Do you have obviously a new project ready? I mean, it sounds like just because of the amount of music that you guys have already put out. I mean, in what month did you put out Watercolor?
March. Yeah.
Okay, so it's been a little bit of time, I guess 7 months or so. And then you just put out All I Need. And tell me about this song. And then, like I said, I want to hear about the video because I just watched that earlier as well.
Yeah, we've spent the last 9 months is basically, or maybe a little less than that, on the road, touring, playing live music. And I think that that's really informed the way that we're producing music right now.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's fun to see people jump up and down and get that reaction from an energetic song. So this next body of work that we were kind of talking about earlier, is definitely a little bit more dance oriented, a little bit more suitable for the club. And so that's kind of the origin, or where we kind of based this All I Need track. We wanted something that was a little bit more dancey, fun, upbeat. And we had a conversation with our manager that was basically, hey, let's make a summer track. And so we got to work, put together All I Need. It was a really fun one because we produced it in between here and New York. Did a trip out to New York and got some studio time out there, which is always really refreshing for us because
Always fun.
we still produce in my bedroom here in
That's
Santa
awesome.
Monica. Whenever we can get an actual studio, it's really a treat. So
Yeah, and there's a different energy in New York too, where I think we come up with some good stuff out there. Another thing I think is cool about this song and some of the other ones we have coming out is, it's the first time we really have Xander complemented by a female vocal, even though it's a sampled vocal.
Oh, sure.
All I Need, I don't know if it was actually originally female vocal, but it's pitched up.
yeah,
So
it is actually a male.
it sounds like it. And I really I personally love that feeling of like having him crush those verses, and then you have this moment with some female energy in there. It's great. And we have another one that's like that. I'm sure we'll have a couple more.
Mhm.
So just, we're trying new things, experimenting with the next project.
Well, I'm curious, how does that work? Because I'm not too familiar with writing and putting together electronic music in that sense, where it's like, Xander, you sing on the song, but then you have all the lyrics to the melody, and you hire some like a studio vocalist to just come in and sing it, like, or that the other element to it. Like, how does that work?
There's this beautiful tool called Splice that is a sample library. It's like a subscription-based sample library. You go through, they have, I don't know, millions of samples
I'd say
on.
millions.
Oh, okay.
So you just have to be good at sifting through the crap and
Sure, to find
or
something that would
find
work.
stuff that really inspires you. And that was one of them. It's like a big gospel choir sample that came across one day. And we pitched it up a couple steps and tossed a little tremolo on it, and it's became kind of the bass for this track.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it's like you have to go find somebody and you're like, okay, like let's do something like this. But that's awesome. That's cool that you can, do those tweaks and make something sound totally different.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, so you said you have more music coming out. Obviously, you just put the All I Need out. Where was the video shot? Was that in Santa Monica?
I was out in Malibu.
Oh, Malibu. Okay.
Yeah,
Close.
great because we spent a lot of time out there, and I love to surf. I try to go every day, and so it's fun to make our music videos in places in natural spaces that really inform the music indirectly.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if you've seen it, but we did a album performance video of A Range of Light up in the Sierras.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, and so that was like really special. So playing the music out in the place where it was inspired, and just playing to a beautiful setting is something that is one of my favorite parts of music.
It's a good vibe. Like, I don't know what better way to spend your day than just be on the beach all day, filming something for like your art. It's really cool.
Is that the video where it's like you're in front of like a waterfall? Is that something
Yeah,
different? Yeah, that's what I
yeah,
thought. Okay. Yeah, that looks
the little
insane.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, when I first saw that, I think I saw the post on your Instagram or something. I'm like, damn, it looks almost like you're standing in front of a green screen.
Oh, I think you're thinking of
Yeah,
one of our visuals
that
for
might
a
be-
live show.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of something different, but I know which one you're talking because I watched a live video of yours. I'm just getting everything kind of mixed up now. But yeah, because you did like a full album performance, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did see that, and then I watched the music video. But maybe I'm thinking of just a photo, as I think you're playing guitar or something,
Yeah,
David.
that's at Outside Lands.
Oh, it is. Oh, I
Yeah.
love out. That's cool. That's rad. Okay, so that's just a visual that you guys had on stage.
Yeah, that was at Twin Peaks stage.
But
And it
that's
lined
cool
up
that-
really
yeah.
well. Like,
It does. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I would never have guessed that it just works perfectly. Amazing. Well, awesome. Thank you both so much for doing this. I really appreciate your time. I have one more quick question. I want to know if I can get an answer from both of you, it would be awesome. If you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Yeah. So I think one of my favorite things that I've kind of found out working with Xander and just the time that we've had in the industry, is just be grateful for everything that you have every moment. Be a good person. Don't expect anything, and have fun doing it. I think all those things, like if you can stick to that, you'll be in good shape because you'll do it for the right reasons and you'll keep the love for it. And that's the reason why we do it in the first place.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, that covered a lot that I agree with. But I think one more thing is just say yes to everything. And I think that's something that has been said before, but it really holds true, especially in music. It's all about who you know, really, and what opportunities come your way. And if you continue to say yes to every opportunity, like that just broadens that field of possibilities for you. And again, it's all about the experience. Like, music is in the experience, and so why not just do everything you can? Say yes to whatever concert with your friends, or to an opportunity to go into a studio or fly somewhere, even if at the beginning it's not like paying the most. Go out and play that show, open for that person. I think it's all an investment into the project and also into your own happiness, because playing music and being around music is what makes me the happiest. And I think for a lot of musicians that holds true. So
Bringing it backward.